TheDiceBag.blog. Hello and welcome back. You can follow our post on Twitter and Facebook at DirtleMTG to stay up to date on our latest videos and other posts, and you can join a more robust discussion about Casual Commander at our blog, TheDiceBag.blog. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this content to help the channel and the blog grow. Another way you can support the channel, though, is through our affiliate links in the description below. If you're looking for single sealed product or gaming accessories to protect all of that glory, please consider clicking the links in the description. Now, grab some spells, it's time to dirtle. Hello and welcome back to Jolrael Magic. Today we'll be playing some Leinore Autumn Sovereign. Looking at our opening hand, that's 2 lands and some land search. We do have some follow-up. I guess we can risk this, but we do need to get Leinore down to get some card draw going. So this deck largely started out as Catilda and Human Tribal, but I ended up not liking that and she was already in the deck, so I just switched them, and I like this commander a lot better for what I'm doing. So it is still mostly Human Tribal, just a little bit of 1/1 counter synergies here and there. Our first opponent with a Ketria Triumph into play is Karona the False God. 1 white, blue, black, red, green, haste. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player untaps Karona False God and gains control of it. Whenever she attacks, creatures of the creature type of your choice get 3/3 till end of turn, and we are playing mostly humans, which is why I laughed. Our next opponent with the Plains and a Soul Warden into play is Rhys the Redeemed. Elves. Crap. Anyway, Selesnya for a legendary 1/1 elf warrior. 2 in Selesnya tap, create a 1/1 green white elf creature warrior token. 4 Selesnya tap. For each creature token you control, create a token as a copy of that creature. Our turn gives us the Vanquisher's Banner. Let's go Plains and Soul's Attendant. They will gain 1 life out on Rhys' side, but we will not. It's a bit of a sad face. And to our last opponent, it is Sisay Weatherlight Captain, Old Frame. 2 white for a legendary 2/2 Human Soldier. She gets 1/1 for each color among other legendary permanents you control, and Wooburg, search your library for a legendary permanent card with mana value less than her power, put it onto the battlefield, and then shuffle. Did face one of these the other day. Man, did it get going on those shrines. It wasn't much of a game. Bring pull into play for Sisay. Over to Karona. We have Plains with Transcendent Envoy. We will gain a life. Rhys will gain a life. Aura spells cost 1 less to cast. So it could be kind of like that Assault Suit version of Karona, where it just gives it to people to whack each other in the face. To Rhys' turn. Let's see what happens. I expect it to be very much like a Rhys deck, folding very easily to board wipes most of the time, but otherwise glutting the field with creatures. We have an attack, Soul Warden off into Sisay. Yeah, that's something I intend on doing. 1 damage is good, Sisay down to 39. Second main for Rhys. There's something, Jolrael Tree Speaker. The art on that thing is absolutely gorgeous, by the way, but it's just a mana dork, more or less. We gain some more life, 42 for us, Rhys up to 43. And there's Rhys the Redeemed coming down. That'll be some more life. To our turn, we get a Forest. Yay, lands. Let's go ahead. We get Ramp out. Our commander next turn. Then get down the what's it, Arcus Acolyte. Could be good. We do need to get card draw going pretty quick. Rampant Growth. Let's get a Plains since we already have another Forest. And we'll pass it off. I was going to attack into Sisay, but now we have some Elves to deal with. And I don't necessarily want to. Sisay with an Overgrown Tomb into play tapped. And that's it. Over to Karona. 2 5-color decks versus 2 green-white decks. Who will come out on top? My bets on Sisay or Rhys. Our deck doesn't go as wide, although it does have some cards that can match it. Just a lane to play for Karona. Rolling on over to Rhys. It's a level up on the Jolrael Tree Speaker. And a Elf Warrior into play. All the triggering. Also, did they even make tokens? Yes, so that's from Modern Masters. So I was wondering if they even made tokens back then. I think they made goats and stuff. We have an attack. Soul Warden off to slap Sisay in the face again. Works for me. Damage is good. She's down to 38. Rhys up to 45. We to 44. We get Overgrown Farmland to our hand. Let's go ahead and play it. And I guess we'll play our commander here. She does have a rather large backside, and no, I don't mean that in a derogatory way. She is an 0/4. So we will gain some life. And just kind of pass it off there. Get something down next turn, probably the Arcus Acolyte, and make it so we draw a card. We'll put a counter on the Ascendant. Next turn she'll be able to be a 3/3, which will give us the 3 different powers for Coven, so I'm not too worried about it. So there are a few different ways to win with this deck. We can overwhelm our opponents with a few humans. I mean, again, we don't go as wide as Rhys is going to go. We also have Finn the Fangbearer in here. And the new Death Touch Lord, I forget what her name is, but she's also from the new set Midnight Hunt. So we can win technically through poison damage. We had a steam vents into play on Sisay's turn, followed by Enchantress's presence, so it's probably going to be Shrines. Luckily, it's not all humans like I said. We do have a Bane of Progress in the deck and a Heliod's Intervention, so those should be helpful. 2 Karona's turn, they had a Forest into play, by the way. Let's see if they do anything else with the turn. It looks like they don't have red, if I remember my triumphs correctly. No, I do not, apparently. So they don't have black. Shiny Impetus. So it gets 2/2, and it is goaded. On the bright side, it won't affect our Coven, but I guess they just want us to hit Sisay at the moment. I'm still really worried about the elves. We do have board wipes otherwise. We also have Winds of Abandon, and that, I forget what it is, but it's kind of like Blasphemous Act, but white and just straight up destroys things. Added that to the deck. I think that one will be a little bit underrated, although, to be fair, it's not as, glamorous as Blasphemous Act is, because red doesn't have good board wipes at such a low cost. It's Scoot Swarm. Why? Whoever made this card should have a good talking to, because Scoot Swarm is stupid. I personally do not use it in my landfall deck myself because it's that dumb. On the bright side, we might gain a bunch of life, but not if we take a bunch in return. Landfall trigger, there's a Scooty. And Rhys with an elf. So, going pretty wide. So far, none of them are large, but I always worry about the Cradle Hoof thing. We do have, I think, still End-Raise Forerunners in here, but I don't like running Crater Hoof. That's not my jam. So, yeah, I just don't. It just seems like a boring finisher to me. Effective, yes, but boring. To our turn, we get Kogla the Titan Ape. One of my favorite cards, as I think I said in the last 2 videos or something, excluding Horde of Notions. Let's play a Forest. And it works great because our commander is a human. No ETB on her, but it works for protection. Plus, most of our guys are human, so it works out. Okay, let's go Arcus Acolyte. All of our guys will gain Outlast, so if we don't want to attack with a Soul's Attendant, we don't have to. We just put a counter on it, which I think is pretty nifty to avoid such things. But I think we're going to attack anyway. 2 combat, trigger, counter on Soul's Attendant. We get a Forest for the draw. Attack into Sisay. Call it a day. Karona gets some treasure. They take the damage. They are down to 31. Second main phase, not much to do. Let's leave up mana for Call the Coppercoats in case we have to defend ourselves against elves and pass it off. Call the Coppercoats in testing is actually a card I removed and put back in because it can be very good if we can follow it up with like a Galvany Township activation and then just give everything flying with Audric or something. It can be very good. Burgeoning into play for Sisay, they will draw a card. Woodfoot Hills into play and cracked. So Mountain or Forest, they are still, okay, there's Temple Garden. I was going to say they are still missing white, so I was going to say Temple Garden or a Sacred Foundry. Greater Oromancy, other enchantments they control have Shroud. That's going to make things difficult. Well, I guess we just punch them in the face until they quit. That's how it's supposed to go, I suppose. Hopefully Rhys will stop making tokens and do it, but Rhys decks tend to do that. They don't tend to commit to the board as far as attacking early most of the time. At least that's been my experience. Over to Karona. Without Last from our Lord here, I still wish it was at instant speed. Could you imagine the abilities that you could do, the kind of combat tricks you could pull off? It would have been glorious. But I see why they didn't do it. In either case, Burgeoning triggers Maze of Ith onto the battlefield for Sisay. No. Why? Okay, well, we do have Kogla. It can fight something. Probably fight Rhys, just to keep them down a little bit. And then if we can attack with it, we can then blow up their Greater Oromancy, leaving them in a more, well, possibly more vulnerable position. Zur the Enchanter. Okay. What does that mean for us? So at that point, I'm probably fighting Zur, because I just have bad trauma from Zurs and decks with Zur, so probably going to punch him in the face with a Titan Ape there. It's a Skull Clamp. Ooh, that's going to be good. We do have more removal in the deck for support structures. We just haven't seemed to draw any yet anyway. So we'll just have to wait and see. We also haven't drawn any more card draw. And one of the things I like about Leinore over Catilda is she does come with that built-in card draw in the command zone. So that does make things a little bit better. We also might need to fight the Scoot Swarm. There's just so many nice targets. Okay, Insect Token is being equipped with Skull Clamp. That'll buy us probably a turn. It doesn't look like they're really into playing multiple lands a turn, although there's a Misty Rainforest into play for Rhys. And there's the crack for the Misty Rainforest. That'll be another insect into play. They'd currently be up to 2 insect tokens. I do believe the stipulation is lands, 6 or more lands, yeah. So they're up to 4 lands. Will be 5 after the Misty Crack, so... man. What do we kill with Kogla? Savannah into play. Another insect was sacrificed for Skull Clamp. 2 more cards to hand. Pride Sovereign, 1/1 for each other cat you control. Exert it, create 2 cats. If they get down, what is it, Mistform Nexus? Is that what it's called? Everything would technically be a cat. Soul Warden, Rhys, and Scoot Swarm over to the Sisay player. Down to 25 for Sisay, up to 1 commander. Hopefully rolling on over to us. Nope, 1 more Skull Clamp activation, this time on an Elf Warrior. And they'll draw 2 more cards and have to discard 1 at end of turn unless it's a land. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure they played their land for the turn. Yep, so straight to discard. See what that is, roll on over to us, play the forest, see what we get. Probably do Kogla, kill the the enchanter. So forest into play. The Rhys player also discarded a forest, by the way. And then I think on the next turn, Vanquisher's Banner and do some card draw setup. So let's go Kogla. Any number of triggers to the stack. Let's go ahead and fight Zur. Things that tutor out of the deck upset me if they're not mine. And let's go to attacks. We're up to 54 life. Let's put a counter on Leinore, sure. Just in case somebody swings at us, we can poke them in the eye. Card for turn and Austere Command. Cool. We do have to attack. So I guess we'll attack into Sisay. No, let's attack into Rhys. The Karona player will get another treasure. Because otherwise they just use Maze of Ith. They still can, but we're not threatening Sisay at this point. And we do have to kill Rhys eventually. They're going to save Rhys. Sad face. Well, that's politics for you. Alright, well, at least we'll have Soul's Attendant on defense. I do want to get rid of the enchantments. That would be nice. It's Rhystic Study coming down for them. So it might be better if we cast Austere Command, targeting enchantments and mana value 3 or less creatures. Swing Kogla at Rhys, destroying the Skull Clamp so they can't get any more card draw. And unfortunately we will lose Soul's Attendant and the Arcus Acolyte. But that's fine in trade-off, I think. On the bright side, Arcus Acolyte does have reach and lifelink, so if we need to block with it in preparation for this, it should be fine. Vow of Duty coming down. Onto Kogla. Okay. Kogla will also gain Vigilance, which is fantastic. Would have worked great if Outlast was instant speed. Trespasser's Curse. Onto Rhys. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under that player's control, they lose 1 life, and the Karona player will gain 1 life. Good curse to have. Speaking of curses, that new commander, yeah, I might pick that one up myself. I just wish it wasn't only in like set boxers and collector's boxes. I think that was stupid on Wizards' part. There shouldn't be more exclusive stuff. There should be more less exclusive stuff so people can actually get it. Not that I'm saying she's not like only $2.50 or something, but I don't know. I don't like when Wizards does this stuff, because if it's good, they'll keep doing it because their metric for success is money, and I just don't trust them to make good decisions for us. Strip Mine into play. I mean, maybe the Hall? Hopefully they blow up the Hall. We don't have anything threatening, but that doesn't stop people from doing it. Scoot Swarm will also trigger. That is 6 lands, so that'll be another Scooter. Karona will gain 1 life. Rhys will gain no life net, and we will gain 1 life. Cool. Wish they had played it after the Austere Command, rather, but that's fine. Sisay could have some counter magic up, which does upset me. Rhys with Night of Autumn. Almost put that in here. I don't remember if I did or not. Alright, so they send the Night trigger off into the curse. That's fine. We're up to 56 life. Rhys up to 54. Karona is currently sitting at 42, Sisay at 25. And there goes the curse. No attacks out of Rhys. Hopefully nothing too bad going to be happening. Strip Mine does get tapped down, so no blowing up the Hall of Heliod. It's a Steve. To our turn, Semester's End. If only we had enough mana to cast it. Plains into play. And then, cautiously, let's go for the Austere Command. Destroy all enchantments and destroy all creatures with mana value 3 or less. Go. We'll pay the 1 for his Stick Study. Nothing else to do here. Conversely, Sisay could also have Heroic Intervention, which would also be bad. Steve gets sacrificed in response. Rhys will get a land to play. Scooty will trigger twice. Life gain triggers done. We're up to 59, Rhys to 57. Still waiting to see if there's any counter magic. There is not. Fantastic. Let's go to attacks. Leinore will trigger. We can do a counter, but we will not draw a card. Let's attack into Sisay with Leinore and Kogla into Rhys. We will destroy the Skull Clamp. We have Swords to Plowshares on Kogla. Man, sad face. I love you, buddy. We do gain 7 life, though. We're up to 66. And Maze of Ith. Okay, well, at least we get the Skull Clamp done. And we did a lot of other work otherwise. Sisay has to set up. Karona has just been kind of slow. I'm pretty sure Zur was part of a game plan there. Rhys will probably recover more or less fine, but I think we are a little bit ahead. So let's go ahead and pass it off. Over to Sisay's turn. Titania's Song. I haven't seen that in a while. Each non-creature artifact loses all abilities and becomes an artifact creature with power and toughness less than its or equal to its mana value. Leaves the battlefield. This effect continues till the end of turn. Okay. Interesting. I mean, that would totally wreck Tron decks, though. Jeez. Also, it'd make their equipment much more easily destroyed. And this is why I like playing Magic. You guys see all these old cards with all these just, like, random effects. And sometimes not the color they're supposed to be in, necessarily. I don't know where this one would be. This seems kind of green. But, yeah. There you go. Over to Karona. Sphere of Safety coming down for Karona. That's alright. We have more enchantment removal in the deck somewhere. Over to Rhys. Land into play. Oketra's Monument. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like using it with a White Mane Lion. Basically, you pay white to get a token as many times as you want, as long as it resolves and bounces back. Not too shabby with that. I should note, I think at that point, that this deck does not contain Cathar's Crusade because we're not going super wide. Hanwar Militia Captain. It is a human soldier. It also makes other humans when it flips over, so that's nice. Rhys the Redeemed coming down as well. Rolling on over to us. I think call the Copper Coats, get some tokens into play. Ooh, Gavany Township, that'll be good. And possibly Vanquisher's Banner. Could be good. Because then we can get some card draw too, because it does make humans. Yeah, let's do that. Probably gonna scare some people, but meh. So it will be a creature, I think. But that's fine. It is. And call the Copper Coats. No extra striving. We'll just select Rhys. Well, the Rhys player, I guess I should clarify. And we'll get 3 tokens. Oh, I forgot. We lost the ability to draw cards. Sad face. That would have been so good. Alright, I guess we'll just pass it off because Sisay's just going to untap our guy anyway. So let's go ahead and just draw some cards. Make Leinore bigger. Well, draw a card, rather. We get Jolrael. See, that's pretty good because we do get that second card draw off our commander, so we also get some cat tokens. Works for me. I read that wrong. It's not when they come into play. It's just when we cast one. Still, can't do it though. Tried of the Elysian Grove coming down for Sisay's turn. So, their mana, it's any color now, basically. And they can play additional lands. Grasp of Fate. Man. Alright, let's see what they're getting rid of. Sphere of Safety. Our commander, I'm wagering. But we'll probably just put her back in the command zone. Yep. And the flippy guy over on Rhys' side. Might consider adding this to the deck. Do not know. Seems pretty good just to make extra humans. Plus it'll get quite large. So not too bad. Do we have any removal for that? I don't think we do. So let's go ahead and put her back in the command zone. 6 mana is not too much at the moment. Over to Karona. The game has stagnated a little bit. That was not my intention. But we'll see what we can do. Propaganda. Okay, some more Pillow Fort for them. Over to Rhys. I am hoping we can draw some enchantment removal. I think Nature's Claim is in here. So we can get rid of Titania's Song. Is that what it is? Can't even remember. Yeah, Titania's Song. That way, then we can play Jolrael and Audric. Get some extra card draw off of it. Either case, we won't get her down. Imperious Perfect. Elven Lord coming down. It makes elves. Strip Mine. It's destroying the maze. Nice. Alright, so we can attack into Sisay with not impunity, but Vanquisher's Baron should be able to do some work now, as long as it's a creature. And that's it for Rhys rolling on over to us. No attacks even into the Karona player. I probably would have poked him for a little bit, but oh well. Flawless maneuver will be great with our commander coming back down. Let's go ahead and get Jolrael down first. Also did do a series on Jolrael as well. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check that out. That was actually rather fun. I really like the design of this card. It doesn't give straight advantage immediately, but you could definitely build around it, and that's something I really like in a commander. Recast our commander. Should be able to get a nice kitty out of this. Well, once we draw the card, anyway. Go to combat. Let's put a 1/1 counter on Jolrael. Just make her a little bit bigger. And she will trigger when we draw Sigarda, Champion of Light. This card, I've been using it a few times. It's not too bad. Rhys is going to make a 1/1 Elf Warrior token in response. My kitties are bigger. Well, actually, theirs will be the same size because of the Lord. Forgot about her for a sec. We will send the 5/5 off into Sisay. As much as I want to punch Karona, that's not happening with the propaganda, so I guess we'll just sit back on defense with that. Damage is good. They do not block on Sisay's side. Down to 20. Let's pass it off. So maybe on the next turn, Sigarda. Keep Audric back. Just in case. We want to try to get something maybe with Indestructible or get Shalai down first. Otherwise, we do have Flawless Maneuver to protect our board, so that's nice. Now, here he's Binding. Enchant creature Planeswalker can't attack or block, and his activated abilities can't be activated. Hey, you're the one that made it a 5/5. That's all I'm saying. I'd much rather it not be a 5/5. Needs to be a banner to inspire my troops and get me card draw. Over to Karona. I was just about to say they haven't dropped a land in many turns, but there is one now. Good on them. Unfortunately for them, it's still not black. Man, they're getting just ripped by their deck this game. Feels bad. Psychic Impetus. Our commander will be goated. How undignified. A sovereign may not be goated. We can flash her out and then back in at end of turn with Semester's End. It does dodge board wipes, which is one of the reasons it's in here. It also gives our guys 1/1 counters, so that's always nice. But might leave it on for a little bit. Over to Rhys's turn. 2 cards in hand after the draw. Not much to go on. I mean, they could double their tokens. They have only 1, but that would allow them to do something. They could do Imperious Perfect to make another one first and then double them. At least they'd have defense and slowly build up an army. It is something. They do go to combat though. Let's see if they swing anywhere. They do not. Passing it off to us. Wonder if they might have something like Settle the Wreckage. That would be pretty bad. We get yet another Sigarda. All 3 are in the deck. This one, the Heron's Grace. You and humans you control have hexproof. Which one do we want to do first? I'm kind of getting sick of our stuff being targeted, so that's a thing. Let's do Heron's Grace. It'll protect Audric too once we get him down. Let's go to attacks. And the trigger. Yeah, let's put another counter on Jolrael. Why not? We get Thalia's Lancers. Cool. It's in here. I don't know what it really serves a purpose for yet. I did put it in to search for things like Audric, but we have kind of what we want, so I don't know. We can play it next turn and find out, but we'll see how things go. First Strike could be very good on defense with Audric. I guess we have to swing with our commander off into the Rhys player. And I don't want to really swing anywhere else, so let's not. Karona gets the Scry too. Hopefully they'll get to a black source so they can at least play their commander. Always a bit of a downer when you can't. Now they could gang up on our commander here, so that would be somewhat problematic. Alright, it looks like they're just going to make an elf, probably to chump then if I wager. Rhys the Redeem will double their token count. Yeah, it had to happen eventually. At least they're only like 2 2s at the moment. Looks like we have a response from Sisay as well. Hall of Healer's Generosity, they are getting back Enchantress's Presence. Okay. We really need to get Sisay out of the game. The longer they get to survive, the more value they'll be able to generate. We're just not drawing the removal for that darn enchantment yet. Alright, in that case, let's just do Flawless Maneuver. It doesn't look like we're going to have any board wipes in the near future, but we'll see. Alright, and we kill a token. Not the most productive turn ever. It's the Presence coming down for Sisay. Sanctum of Calm Waters. That's a shrine. And then land into play. And probably going off to Karona, who still doesn't have Black Source, which is sad. Rhys is probably going to be our major issue towards the end here. 2 Karona's turn, land in place, still not a Black Source. Ugh. Over to Rhys's turn. So yeah, I think after this turn, assuming they don't like Crater Hoof or something, we take Sisay out of the game, go after Rhys. Karona seems to not be doing much at the moment, so I'm not too worried about them. That can turn around, but we also still need to deal with the propaganda, like I said. So let's see if Rhys does anything outrageous with the turn. Only 2 cards in hand after the draw. And a land play anyway. I don't think they're liable to attack. Everybody's just been kind of sitting around, poking at each other, maybe? Oh, they are. 3 damage off into Karona. They did pay for the propaganda. Damage is good. Karona down to 39. Rolling on over to us. Let's see if there's any responses. Sisay is tapped out except for Dragon Skull Summit. Karona could still potentially have counter magic. We get Charming Prince. Life gain, scry, blink something till end of turn. Could potentially blink the Vanquisher's banner. It's not going to be able to attack anyway. But I think our mana is better spent on Sigarda and Audric this turn. So let's go Sigarda. And Audric. So this should give us flying, trample, and hexproof across all of our creatures. Triggers to the stack. Alright, let's make sure we give the counter to something that can attack. Give it to Jolrael again, I suppose. We do have a lot of 4-power stuff, so want to make sure to draw that extra card. Akroma's Will, that's a game-finishing card right there. Can't use it this turn, but it might help us take down Rhys. We get a kitty. Audric hopefully will resolve without any bad issues. On the bright side, no Rakdos Charms are available, so that works out. Okay, and we're off into Sisay. And we will go... Yeah, let's just... they just straight quit the game. Okay, we'll just reset our attackers then. Off into Rhys. Our Vanquisher's banner still isn't a thing. Man, that sucks. Let's pull the cats back on defense then. Psychic Impetus will trigger again. That means some scrying for Karona. Spirit Safety is also back for Karona. That's a sadness. Still though, why doesn't our Vanquisher banner do the things? The Rhys player is pointing out that if you want to concede, it should be done at sorcery speed. I do agree with that because now they're taking the brunt of my attack instead of Sisay. Also, I just sit there and usually like to take the attack to have the dignity of a defeat. That's just me though. Because now Rhys gets a turn less to react to what we're doing. Rhys down to 38, up to 3 commander. Let's pass it off. We need to draw into something to get rid of those enchantments. Kogla would have been the only legendary creature, I think, that we have that destroys those. So, over to Karona. Chromatic Lantern into play. That will at least be a Black Source, finally. But yeah, I totally forgot about that Titania song. It was a creature until end of turn, so we would not get it back to activate. Well, to be as itself until the end of turn. I might have to pick one of those up for myself. I hope it's not on the reserved list. My dog just snorted disapproval. Curse of Misfortunes onto Rhys. Okay. So it's like a Impetus, Goaty, Curse deck. I can dig it. I wonder if they'll build the 3-color one. Well, the Grixis colored one. So let's see. Enchant player. Beginning of the upkeep, you may search your library for a curse card that doesn't have the same name as a curse attached to the enchanted player and put it on the battlefield. Attach that player. I am thinking of building Linde or Lynn or whatever her name is. So that should be interesting. Imperious Perfect is being activated at end of turn to make it elf. And Rhys is doubling the tokens. So yeah, I think this will be... Either Rhys is going to beat us here, because Crater Hoof is always a thing, and boring as hell, or we will win via Akroma's Will, unless they can get their guys to fly as well. Unwritten Militia Captain will flip over on the upkeep. It'll be as large as the creatures they control and give them an extra token every turn. Again, might put it in here. Initially I was going to do a slight blinking in here, so it could go in place of the Charming Prince. Charming Prince, I don't see where it would necessarily be good right now, but I am still testing the deck out. Rexage. Blowing up the banner, I wager. Possibly the curse. I don't think they really are going to care about the curse, though. Maybe the taxing effects. They are blowing up the curse. That was like bottom of my decision-making barrel right there. But I guess they just really don't like to be accursed. To combat, Audric will trigger. Flying Trample and Hexproof for us. We got a cult leader off into our face. I mean, we could just take the 13. It's not like it has lifelink or anything. And we are plenty healthy, so let's just take it. Imperious Perfect being activated for an elf. Rhys could still double up on tokens too. As long as they don't get flying, we are fine. They'd also need 2 removals to get rid of Audric, so that's awesome. And there's a Rhys activation. There will double their tokens. So yeah, we will be taking, 24. So good move on them. Good thing it's not a commander. And we go down to 42. At the beginning of the end step, the cult leader recruits. You know, a human. To our turn, we get Conclave Mentor. I mean, yeah, it's cool. It's not a human though, but it does do the counter synergies. But I think we want to leave up mana for Semester's End in case there is a response to our attack. Let's go to attacks. We will go ahead and put a counter on Leinore. Bastion Protector, nice. We also get another kitty. And let's go. They could have a fog effect or a holy day effect too, so that's something to consider. I think at this point I'm just going to commit with everything and make sure they get dead. So yeah, it should work. We have a couple of triggers. Let's respond with Akroma's Will so I don't screw that up. Seems like a good idea. And then we'll still have mana for the Semester's End in case something goes badly. Because we control our commander, Akroma's Will will get to do both. We also lose the Impetus because it gains protection from old colors, so the enchantment falls off our commander. No humans on the top. There's the other Sigarda though, and Shalai. Archetype I might take out. It seems like we're doing okay on our, the Hexproof, but I'm still testing. They're down to 1 on the first strike damage. Down to -36, we're up to 116. Let's pass it off, keep up that mana for Semester's End to protect our board state, and still need to find a way to destroy those enchantments. Karona might last a little bit here. We have opened the armory for Karona. Search your library for an aura or equipment card. They get Overwhelming Splendor. Aw, man. I mean, that's a pretty good response to our stuff, though. And we can't really protect against it either. So we just have to kind of draw into something. That's a bit of a sad face. At least we have Vanquisher's Banner to continue drawing our stuff. But this is going to be a slog now, and it was already pretty slow. On the bright side, it looks like we're at least getting a turn before Overwhelming Splendor comes down. So that's nice. To our turn, we get Nature's Claim. Nice, we are well prepared then. Let's go ahead and give all our guys a 1/1 counter. That'll work out fine. Make sure you get all the extra damage in. Go to attacks. We'll put a counter on Jolrael, sure. Or Jolrael, sorry. Totally wrong legendary creature. Or on Frostfang. Ooh, Thalia's Lancers now as a target. I don't think we'll need to go get Finn the Fangbearer though. Alright, let's just pass it off. Still can't attack because of the enchantments, but we do have something for Overwhelming Splendor, so that works out fine. Still need probably like a Bane of Progress or a Heliod's Intervention, so we got to draw like mad. Probably should have played Charming Prince just to get some card draw. Temple Garden into play for the Karona player. I imagine untapped, but they don't really have to. They do have just enough mana for the Overwhelming Splendor. Oh, and they just give it up. Alright, that's fine. I'm pretty sure we will hit Heliod's or Bane eventually. I don't really know who I want to give it to. Everybody more or less stuck around until they were dead. Nobody really quit or said anything nasty. I guess I'll give it to the Karona player just because they kind of kept going, and they were the last one here. Sure, why not? Capricious and arbitrary. So yeah, I've been testing this deck out a bit. It's actually been a lot of fun. I've actually gone ahead and got a copy of Leinore just to build my own version of it. I don't necessarily have all these cards in paper yet, especially from the new set, but through trades and things, I intend on building this in paper. Seems pretty fun, pretty straightforward green-white deck, but the card draw on the commander is so good that I think it's just going to be more or less awesome. Alright, there it is. 2 points to us, 3 points to the Karona player, and 1 point off into the Rhys player. No points for Sisay, unfortunately. Again, 6 points. I guess I'll just have to get over it. Let's go take a look at the deck. Alright, here's the deck. Still mostly human tribal, which really works out for our Sigarda and Vanquisher's Banner, but we do have some non-humans in the deck. Namely, Betonwaldromantik and Kogla are good. Bane of Progress. The archetype of Endurance. Steelbane Hydra. So a card I've wanted to use for a long time. I still don't know if it's going to work. It's quite mana intensive. And our commander doesn't really need to put counters on anything, but I wanted to put counters on something. This offers it a little more synergy. Beyond that, Banisher Priest and Fiend Hunter are both humans, so that's awesome. War Priest of Thune for a little bit extra removal. Too bad Rex Sage is an elf. And Esper Sentinel is actually a human. There you go. Now, what the deck could use is probably more recursion. I have, I think, 2 recursion in the whole deck, besides Angel of Glory's Rise, which is just good against zombies, and we all know zombies just came out again, so people will be playing it. So probably some more recursion, some way to get some stuff back. But so far the deck's been a lot of fun. The only thing I kind of don't like about the deck is still it's very green-white, needs to commit to a board. So in my playstyle, I often have to commit to a lot of protect my board state kind of things. Probably going to take out a giant gold main to add yet another one. Maybe Angel, was it Glorious Archangel? I don't know, it was from Keldheim, protects your non-angels basically. Other than that, we have Shalai, gives hexproof to all our stuff. Always good to have her around, plus she has a counter synergy. Flawless Maneuver, Semester's End, just to dodge wipes and come back a little bit stronger. Not really for any planeswalkers, but wanted to try it out. And of course, Heroic Intervention, because it can also stop spot removal. So yeah, probably going to add one more of those with Johnny Goldman being taken out. We do also have Inspiring Call. This one, because we're not really in on the 1/1 counters, I don't know if this is going to be all that good. But it is board protection, it is card draw, still testing it out. Don't know that we're going to keep it. In either case, that's it for now. If you saw anything that you want in paper, sealed product, or gaming accessories to protect all of that glory, please consider using the affiliate links in the description below. It helps out the channel and doesn't cost you anything extra. On to the next game with Leinore. Really liking the deck, like I said. Hopefully it'll still perform. Green-white tends to be a little bit slow though, so do keep that in mind if you build it yourself. Until the next video, stay safe out there.